Vision for the church. I've been talking about the church a lot. And again, let's think about what the church means in the United States of America. Again, this is where we're getting this whole conversation about the church. Who else? If not the church, who? Who's going to stand in front of the iron door and say, you know what? We don't need all of the government spending anymore. Who's going to take care of the poor? Who's going to do that? If it's not the church, then who? So let's talk about the church. What is the vision for the church in the state of Indiana? I operate out of the book of Nehemiah. Wonderful book. Look, even if you're not saved and you don't know Jesus, open the Bible and read Nehemiah. You're going to love that book. It's a book that talks about in the first chapter where the walls have been broken down and the gates have been burned with fire. And Nehemiah has this heart. By the way, Nehemiah, a cupbearer of all things. He's got this heart for Jerusalem. And so he's going before the Lord. He's praying. He's grieved for the people. And he gets this vision. We've got to rebuild. And so that's what he does. He goes to the people and he says, let's rebuild. And the people, it says in the Word of God, that the people had a mind to build. And so they actually completed the rebuilding of these walls in 52 days, which would have been a miracle because those walls were like almost a room wide. The width would have been that wide. It's amazing. They didn't have all of the things that we have in construction now. They don't have all the machinery. No, they were just with their hands and their kids. They were out there and they were building one rock at a time. And what we see is that after 52 days, they had built the wall and people were astonished. Do you want to know why? Because they didn't think they could do it. The enemy had gone all the way around on every side, trying to intimidate them, trying to distract them, trying to discourage them. But they wouldn't be discouraged because they saw there was a need and they wanted to meet that need. So they were people that were focused on the vision to rebuild. And then they saw the reviving of that community as people began to then help with the houses and rejoicing took place. That's what we want in Indiana. We want to rebuild, revive, and rejoice. And that's really the mission that I bring for the church. I say, hey, you know what? You're known to be selfless. Why? Because you serve the King. And he laid it all aside, laid glory aside, that he might give his life so that anyone that believes might be saved. He's the ultimate selfless example. And so the church comes in and says, we can do that for our communities in Indiana, and I'm happy to lead them.